And so far the protests have been fairly quiet. David Richardson with that report. Now, finding a park is a nightmare at the best of times, and nobody likes getting slapped with a fine, especially if you think you're doing the right thing, like the driver you're about to meet. He parked his car with other motorists in mind and was hit with a fine despite being considerate. But as Annalise Nielsen reports, when he fought it, it got a whole lot worse.
A lot of it is revenue raising.
The rules are ridiculous.
It's the daily gripe of almost every driver, finding a park.
I have cars parked on my lawn all the time, so it's killing my lawn.
There's always a battle to park. The roads are so narrow.
And who hasn't copped an unfair fine for using your initiative?
I don't see why there's a problem, why there should be a problem if they're not in anybody's way.
And if you do try to fight back, you're penalised tenfold.
It was an $89 fine to start with, and I ended up with $866.
Sam Burton's a tradie who specialises in granite overlay for kitchen benches. It means he's often on the road and needs to park to unload.
I'm out and about every day, and I go out quoting as well, and I do the work myself as well.
So when he visited a home in Hillbank last March, it was just another job.
I just pulled up, the curbs sort of roll over, and I guess they roll over so people can park up them nice and easily. 2
weeks later, he received this in the mail, an $89 fine for stopping on the path.
Yeah, I was annoyed, yeah, because the whole area, people park like I do, or like I did.
He says he was just using his common sense. And why didn't you park in the driveway?
Oh, because the driveway's just too steep and I wouldn't trust my car to get back up the driveway.
Most importantly, he wanted to make sure cars had enough room to pass by.
So to park on the Verge allows for traffic flow backwards and forwards.
Using Nearmap's satellite technology, we can see parking on the Verge along Bethany Rise is certainly not uncommon. And when we went for a quick drive around, we spotted plenty of other car owners doing the same thing too. But what really makes Sam's predicament just so ridiculous is that the path he parked across ends just metres up the road.
Well, I don't believe I should be fined for doing it, really. So I'd like to see my fine wiped out.
Neighbour Talisa says people park their cars on verges all the time.
I mean, yeah, if it's blocking somebody's driveway or something like that, then there should be obviously a yellow line. But if there's no yellow line, I don't see why no one can do it.
And she doesn't see a problem with it.
I don't see why he should get a fine for it though.
But it was local Glen North who really got fired up.
When they've obviously built this estate, they haven't built the roads wide enough. So no wonder he was parking on the Verge, because if you park up on the road, a car can't even get through.
He and his family hopped in their cars to show us just how bad the problem can be in the area.
There was no way a semi or a larger vehicle can even get through there, so you can understand why people park on the Verge.
So Sam decided to fight his case, even though he knew the law wasn't on his side.
I went to court because it might teach the council that they just can't fine people and expect them just to pay.
How did you go?
Not too good. An $866 fine later, I lost.
That's right, his $89 fine turned into $866. He copped a $50 fine from the court, $160 for the Victims of Crime levy, and $656 in court costs.
We're constantly seeing that is the cost of so-called justice for even minor matters.
Michael Wood is a specialist in criminal and traffic law here in Adelaide and says problems like Sam's are all too common.
If people use a bit of common sense by parking with one wheel on a bit of a grass verge where there's those 45-degree curbs, as you've shown me, you would hope someone would use a bit of common sense in enforcing that.
And it's often just councils are more interested in protecting their revenue.
It's always been the big brother approach with these sorts of things. There are some councils that even prosecute with full lawyers to prosecute against individuals.
And it's worth big money for them. Playford Council last year alone made over $500,000 on parking fines and expiation fees. That's 2,059 parking fines, just over half of those for parking on paths or nature strips. 29 issued on the same day Sam received his.
I was guilty, but I was guilty of an offence. But there's 100 people in the same area all doing the same thing.